So guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. Today we're going to be looking at arcade possibilities on the Evercade. So we've already had 4 arcade collections already released on the Evercade, but we're definitely going to get some more in 2022, but what could they possibly be? In this video we're going to look at possibilities with what we could expect in the next big announcements from Blaze for Evercade arcade carts. Let's go. Okay guys, now you may remember this Evercade VS trailer that was released last year. In the video there's a very subtle reference in the background, as you can see, to Street Fighter Capcom arcade cabinet. Now it could be totally coincidental, but it just seems, why would you put that in there? You could easily have edited that out. Someone definitely seen that. It could just be there for the sake of it, it could be coincidental. But I think it's probably been put there deliberately, or left there deliberately, because we may well be getting a Capcom arcade cart. I think Blaze have been working really hard in the background, getting some big licenses. I think we are going to get some big license arcade carts coming really soon. I don't really know for sure, but I think Capcom would be really cool to actually get on board. So if this is just a hoax, maybe we're not getting Capcom. If we're not getting Capcom, what other big possible license company could we get on board in Evercade? We'll have a look at that in this video, but first we're going to start with Capcom.
Round 1, fight!
Now, difficult to say what other games we could possibly see, but I would love to see this one, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, but it's a cracking sort of beat 'em up. I think you can play 3-player game as well, which would be great. And it's absolutely fantastic. It is bonkers, it makes no sense. There's dinosaurs, there's shooting, there's... I don't know, the plot's a bit crazy, but it's a great action game, great fun. It's beat 'em up, you can shoot as well using weapons, which is kind of not something you see an awful lot in the kind of traditional beat 'em up game. Obviously you get weapons, but guns generally don't happen that often. But yeah, this is a really good game. There's so many different Capcom games out there. It's difficult to say which ones we would see. Now, if you've seen some of the Capcom collections released last year, that might have been the year before, on all formats like Switch, Xbox and PlayStation, they released a few different games, and it worked out to be about £30 all in by the amount of games that they had on board if you bought all of them. And it's a great collection. It's not everything right enough, but it's a great collection, and maybe it's a possibility we could get 1 or 2 carts out of it. If it does happen, I have no idea if it will or not. I think there's a high possibility it could, because Capcom have traditionally released their games in a lot of different formats over the years, so it's possible. Will Blaze afford it? Will they actually splash cash and get Capcom on board at a reasonable price? Who knows? We can only hope. So I think, guys, a high possibility that we will see a Jellico arcade cart at some point, given the fact that we've already got a console cart collection on board that includes this game, the NES version that is of Asgan. which is okay, not really a big fan of the game. The arcade version is quite a lot different, to be honest. Probably a little bit more fun to play. The enemies still keep on coming, they just keep respawning all the time, you just keep standing still, which is a little bit annoying, but it's a really good game. Now, also by Jalico is this fantastic game that I played a lot in the C64 called Wardland, which is kind of a single screen type of game where you just need to clear the flowers, enemies, both if ideally, but it's such a fun game, really enjoyed it, pretty simple. I think this type of game would be perfect on the handheld, for example, and it would be probably just even better on the VS. I think this would be brilliant. I would love to see this little game. Fond memories playing it on the C64. It's an excellent little game, love it. Okay, would love to see some more Pico Interactive stuff. Now, technically speaking, we've already had Pico Interactive with the Galco collection because they own that company, but I would love to see this game Steel Force, which Pico Interactive also own, which is like an Alien Breed sort of clone. And they own a few other sort of games as well. We could maybe see Thunderhoop 2, we could maybe see World Rally 2, for example, but they own a few more other sort of arcade titles out there, and this one is particularly good fun. Like I say, it's very much like Alien Breed on the Amiga, and it's really good fun to play. I think this would be fantastic on the handheld and VS, it would be brilliant. Now this one just might be the most impossible and implausible one to see on Evercade, would be Sega arcade games. I would love to see, obviously, Golden Axe and Alien Storm, for example, on the Evercade, amongst so many others. If you've got an Astro City Mini, then you'll have an idea of some of the games that you could possibly see. I'm not really sure we'll ever see Sega, to be honest, on Evercade. I'm not really sure, but there's a chance. I just think some of the other sort of companies that are in this video are probably more plausible than Sega. I hope I'm wrong though.
Hey, this channel. bet, Mary.
So, would we be able to see Konami arcade games on the Evercade? I would love it. I mean, we've got some cracking games out there like Contra, which was great fun. We've seen that in many formats over the years. Is it possible? I really don't know. I would love to see it. I mean, personally, the one I'd love to see is Sunset Riders, which we could play a 4-player game, which would be amazing on the VS. What an absolutely brilliant little game it is. Little sort of scrolling shoot 'em up, obviously, and it's fantastically fun to play. It really is. It's a little bit of a dream. I'm not sure if it will happen, but there's an outside chance. You just never know. Okay, if it's classic arcade stuff, then why not Williams? They have so many good games that I think would just fit perfectly on the Evercade. Now, this is what the Evercade is all about, playing these classic arcade titles, such as Defender and Robotron, which is coming up next. Absolutely cracking games. I played this game, Defender 2 Public Stargate, on the Atari 2600, and I absolutely loved it. Takes a little bit of practice to get used to, and then it gets ferociously fast. It's brilliant, really good, and this is stuff I would love to see. These are classics for me. But will we? It's hard to tell, because the sort of licenses may be quite expensive. I'm not sure if Williams would be possible, due to the fact I think it might be Warner Brothers that own the license to these, and Midway as well. So not entirely sure. Would love it, but it's probably a big if, to be honest. Speaking of Midway, if we could possibly get Midway, it's got to be Mortal Kombat 2 or Mortal Kombat Kart. Who knows? That would be absolutely fantastic. Mortal Kombat 2 and Mortal Kombat were games we played in the arcades, and then obviously for me it was on the Mega Drive, and I absolutely loved it. Especially played 2-player games quite a lot with my sister, and it was a lot of fun. The arcade versions are probably a heck of a lot harder than the console versions, which you see here I just get my ass completely kicked by Scorpion. Absolutely no chance. But what great games they were. They were sort of an alternative at the time to Street Fighter 2 games. Obviously had those brutal fatalities that ended the fights, which obviously made it stand out and made it completely different to Street Fighter. And it definitely, you definitely noticed it, that's for sure.
Scorpion wins. Fatality.
So, there might be an outside chance we might see Ireme sort of games on the Evercade. You don't really see these type of games on many different formats over the years. If we could get this on board, I'd love to see Ninja Baseball Batman. What a amazing little scrolling beat 'em up tile game. It's very quirky, very different. It looks fantastic. It plays well. You can obviously play 2-player game on it. I'm not really sure if it's 3 or 4-player, but it's such a fun game. It looks absolutely different. It's totally bonkers. It's great fun. I really like it. Okay, outside chance here. SNK Neo Geo games on the Evercade, you just never know. I'm not really sure. I mean, the fact that you see these games appearing every single week, a new game getting released on Xbox, PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, they must be quite keen to probably get their games out there. So the fact that a license could be possible, it's not totally far-fetched. To get a Neo Geo or SNK cart would be absolutely fantastic. There's a lot of cracking games here. The Samurai Showdown series is absolutely brilliant fun to play. But obviously if we're talking about getting Neo Geo SNK games, then why not could we maybe get the classic Metal Slug series? That would be absolutely brilliant. There was tons of these games, but this is the first one and it's absolutely fantastic fun. I mean, I would urge anyone to have a play at these games and not enjoy it. It's just mindless, just destroy everything in front of you. What a great title. It's so much fun to play. We've seen loads of versions in different formats over the years. And yeah, I think even if we had a cart on its own, just a sort of Metal Slug cart, I think a lot of people would definitely buy an Evercade for that, and maybe just buy this cart. It would be fantastic. Love it. Anyway, you never know. It's a possibility. Let's keep our fingers crossed. This would be a good one.
Heavy machine gun! Lane shot! Thank you! Heavy machine gun!
Okay, is there a chance we could see some titles, arcade titles on the Evercade or Tato? I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but I'm not so sure now. The fact that we've got the EGRET Mini 2 coming out, or it's already out, I really don't think we're going to see this anytime soon. It might be a possibility in the future, and I would certainly love to see some of these games. I love this game, Liquid Kids, which is fantastic, but I think this one's probably going to be put in the back burner for now. I might be completely wrong with that, but I think the fact that the EGRET Mini is sitting out there and they're trying to push that, I'm not really sure they'll probably put much focus on an Evercade cart, to be honest. But you never know. I don't think this one's got a very good chance of happening anytime soon, sadly. But maybe a year or two down the line, it might become more of a possibility. So guys, I'm going to leave you with my all-time favourite football game from the arcades, which is called Tecmo World Cup, which came from the company Tecmo. Tecmo used to be known as Tekken, and they changed their name sometime in the sort of 80s. And I played this game lots in the arcades in the early 90s. It was released in the mid-80s, but it was still in the arcades during the sort of early 90s, and it was fantastic. Really loved it. It only cost 10 pence a go. And I really got hooked on it. It was absolutely brilliant. You can see maybe the style of this game was inspired games such as Sensible Soccer and Microprose Soccer. But this was the original one for me. I really loved this game. It's quite simple. There's no pass button. It's just a shoot. If you hold down the button, it maybe does this kind of lob shot thing. But I loved this game. It was so playable. It was very addictive. Is it possible we could see this? I really don't know. It was released on the Xbox original and PlayStation, I believe, PlayStation 2 perhaps, on a Tecmo Arcade Classic CD. There wasn't that many games on it, and it was changed to Tecmo World Cup, I believe. So it is out there, but this is the arcade version, and I love it. I would love to see this on the Evercade handheld or PS. Absolutely brilliant. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. I'm not really sure we're going to see any of these or all of these, maybe some of them. I do know that Evercade have definitely signed some big licenses. I just don't know what. Catch you again next time guys. Bye for now.